gonna lie. A lot of the times when I come across stuff on the internet that I don't agree with, I just let it slide. In the sense that I don't really care. I don't really give a damn about the stuff on the internet. No, this is more so in the sense that I can't stop and address every single thing, right? And even if I do, who's to say that I'm in the right, right? But this is one of those times where I'm looking at it like I know I'm in the right, and I actually do have time to address it. So, yeah. This guy, Ubarak or something like that, he posted a video, and basically, he's trying to make believe that a relationship with God is achieved through your own actions, as well as God's actions. So, I mean, yeah, I disagree with that. I don't think that's true. But yeah, but we had a chat about another topic, and this is how it actually ended up coming to this point. Not point like, oh, it elevated or anything or escalated. No, like this point, as in like this topic. It came to this topic from a whole different topic. I came to him in the YouTube comment section of one of his YouTube shorts or something like that, and I'm always touting the same stuff, you know. How can I get away from sin, right? So, like I said, we started off talking because I commented on one of his YouTube posts about, hey, how can I avoid sin? He gave me his, because it was long, it's a long comment. He gave me his Discord, right? But yeah, we ended up chatting, and it went bad. It went bad. The chat went bad. It went sour. The guy contradicted himself. He what he says at times indicates that he ain't even a Christian. And he's saying that us getting to heaven ain't the sole purpose of King Jesus. So it really makes you wonder. Like, and I question him on certain things, and he just ignores me. Like, for example, I asked, at a certain point I asked, how does one stop doing the things they don't want to do? Referring to this verse. Romans chapter 7, verse 15. I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate, I do. So, and he said, relationship. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? If relationship is what I think it is, right, is the belief in God, obviously, then I should already be there. But I'm not. So I asked, what do you mean by relationship? 3 times to no avail. Like, just all for nothing, bro. It's almost as if he knows that we both have 2 meanings of relationship when it comes to God, and he's dodging the what you mean by relationship question, because he knows it will expose his lack of faith. It's like he doesn't say it outright to the point where I could quote it, but he implies it. Like, he implies that the relationship of God isn't just belief in God, but that it's actions too. Like, and there's no room for that, bro. There's no room for that. And then he says that the sole purpose of God, of what God did, is to restore relationship and to reconcile humanity back to our Father, which is true. The evidence shows that's true. Here you go, a verse. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Matthew chapter 20, verse 24, right? But then there's him going to church, praying before bed, and grace before food, quick and casual Christianity. like if you do good works and acknowledge that you're saved, that's a bad thing. And he says the entire point of this life is to know God intimately and to let everybody, as many people as you can, know that they can have that same relationship with God because of God, which is what I interpret to mean be a Christian and spread the gospel. Like, and then he says, I'm overcomplicating things, bro. And on top of that, there's more. He says, you're missing so much more. Like hearing from God, his presence, his peace, and restoration. And to top it all off, he says, it's not just Jesus saving you, he restored you. Which is quite literally the same thing. Like, what did God save us from? Sin. What does restoring mean? Making new. So it's safe to assume that the dirty, ugly inclination to sin was the thing that broke us and made us need to be restored, right? Like, what if I was to give you evidence that shows when you believe, you'll have a guarantee of being healed, fixed, and restored? And here it is. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 6. Moreover, the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the hearts of your adolescents and the hearts of your descendants to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul, that you may live. Would it change your mind? Would it change your mind? The evidence. Listen, Barack, you think that the relationship with God is achieved through your own actions as well as God's actions. It's clear. It's clear through your speech. Even though you may not say it, it's clear. But I think that relationship with God is the belief in God. And I think you should switch to this idea, this mindset, right? Because when Adam and Eve were in the garden, would you agree that they had a relationship with God? And when they fell from grace, would you agree that that relationship was cut off? When God appeared in a pillar of fire, or in a pillar of smoke in the wilderness back in the old days, would you agree that they had a relationship with God, the people? And when the people messed up and God stopped coming in a pillar of smoke, in a pillar of fire, would you say that that relationship was cut off? Would you? I mean, I would argue that the word relationship, when talking about God, right, is about being in God's good graces, so to speak. And when people did whatever they did to not be in God's good graces, the relationship was cut off. That's just from what I've gathered. And I understand why you would think that a relationship is achieved through your actions as well as God's due to negative influence, and it's going around like wildfire. It's just that the evidence shows that's not the only way that things work today. The evidence shows that in order to be in God's good graces, and in turn be in relationship with Him, all you have to do is believe in Him. The good actions will come afterwards. Because if we believe that God has taken the punishment that we deserve, we're believing what He says. We're trusting Him. And if we believe what He says, and not a talking snake with legs on a tree, if we trust what God says and not the enemy, doesn't it make sense that we would be in His good graces? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 3 to 4. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that He was buried, and that he rose again the third day, according to the scriptures. If you have two and you subtract one, only one is left. If there is hell and heaven, and God subtracts the hell, you only have heaven left. And God has subtracted the hell. He's taken it all away. And through his actions alone, we can be 100% certain that we have a relationship with him. A good one too. This is 1 John chapter 4, verse 13. Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he hath given us of his Spirit. And even though there's times where the believers in God sin, it doesn't mean that they're not Christians anymore. A Christian is a Christian no matter if they do a specific sin or not. The whole point of being a Christian is because you view sin as a problem and acknowledge the only true solution, Jehovah. So if a Christian does something wrong and sins, is he no longer in God? Is he no longer in him? Is he no longer a Christian? Is God no longer in him? Does he no longer believe that God took his punishment so he won't have to take it himself? Is Paul a Christian? Is every single action of Paul good? Did he ever sin as an apostle of God or after he rose and transfigured? What about before he met God? Okay, so just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you don't sin. Okay, so what's with the implication that I sin the way I sin because I'm not in God's company, or that I sin the way I sin because God isn't in my company? There's no argument that's good enough to make me believe that the sky is actually purple. It's blue. There's no argument that's good enough to make me believe that air isn't for breathing, but instead for making cakes with. There's no argument that's good enough to make me believe that God isn't as close as he will ever be to you, and that even Moses, who chatted with God like they were friends, wouldn't trade it to have Jehovah within him and be within Jehovah too. There's no argument good enough to make me believe that King Jesus dying on the cross isn't for the forgiveness of sins, isn't for mercy and justice to be served. Like, bro, how you gonna imply that we gotta work to be with God? You don't clean the fish before you catch it. You catch the fish first, then you clean. The Holy Ghost is within us. I'm sorry I can't rattle off Bible verses like you studious people, but I know that's there. We are in King Jesus Christ. I know that's there too. But hey, steal, serpent, steal. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if the idea that you're pushing is right, then it's right. But I know it's not. And how do I know? Because the overwhelming evidence shows that there's nothing you can do to get closer or further away from Jehovah when you're a Christian. Because he's already as close as ever, inside of us. This is 1 John chapter 4, verse 13. Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he has given us of his Spirit. To think that we can work our way towards God, or is to think that works justify us or condemn us when God himself said our sins are atoned for. This is Romans chapter 3, verse 25 to 26. God presented Christ as a sacrifice of atonement through the shedding of his blood to be received by faith. He did this to demonstrate his righteousness, because in his forbearance he had left the sins committed beforehand unpunished. He did it to demonstrate his righteousness at the present time, so as to be just in the one who justifies those who have faith in Jesus. And our works are like dirty period pads. This is Isaiah chapter 64, verse 6. But we are all as an unclean thing, and our righteousness, says, are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away. You say stuff like, oh, don't you want to spend time with those you love and be with them? But that's the thing, like, with the creator of the universe within you, it's not a time, day, year, hour, second, millisecond, or nanosecond that goes by where he's not with you. There's no time where you aren't with God in his company. So why do these ideas come up where, oh, we have to do this or that to get closer to God or to be in his company? I'd argue it comes from a place of emptiness. I'd argue that idea is a lie playthrough of people trying to fill that God-shaped hole by pleasing him with filthy, bloody rags. Thinking that being in a relationship with our Father is based on the dirty rags as well as King Jesus. But the evidence shows otherwise. This is John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus answered, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Look at it this way. If you're on a plane and it's going down due to engine failure or something catastrophic like that, God forbid, and you pack the parachute in your carry-on, and while you were crashing, you put it on. But then you get back in your seat and put your seatbelt on, thinking that's going to help. Isn't that just plain stupid? Like dumb, meaningless, pointless, insensible? Because it does nothing to help you, but instead it actually hinders you from taking the proper precaution you should have taken. The parachute alone. God alone. Now you can't get the parachute open because you wanted to go rely on something else along with the parachute to achieve your goal of living and not dying in a fiery death. But you're still going to die a fiery death. And the crazy thing is, you had the best, most expensive parachute too. Proven in war type stuff. Real deal, reliable, dependable. Always have your back. Never let you down parachute. But no. Let's go strap on this little seatbelt too in hopes it'll help me with living. And while we're at it, let's go put the mask on that fell from the ceiling and put our window shades down. Look, I care about you, man. This is what this is for. It's to let you know that, yo, being in a relationship with God ain't based off of what you do. He already did the things that enable you to be in a relationship with God. And you, right? You, if you believe, you already are in a relationship with God. Why? Because the things he did, you believe in. That's what it means to be a Christian. You believe in things God did, right? You follow him. You believe him. You trust him. That's what it means. So when you believe and you trust that what he did impacts you positively, and you benefit from it severely, and man, but right now, bro, if you don't believe in God, and I don't think you do, because that's what the evidence shows. It looks like you trusting in your works to please God. Also, along with your belief in God. It's not a good drawing, bro. It's not a good drawing. Like, what if your wife said, baby, I'm gonna make you something real nice. I'm gonna make you a nice home cooked meal, big meal, right? All your favorites, right? As soon as you come home from work, it's gonna be nice, high, and ready, waiting for you, right? Does she say that, right? Who's your wife say that to you? And you go out, you go get some pizza, or you go get some fast food, or you go get something from the Chinese store. What? She just said she was going to make you your favorite food. Why would you go out there? Because you didn't trust her. It's the same thing. Now you might even come home with the pizza and eat both of them. But still, how is that gonna make your wife feel? You wanted something else instead of just hers. You know? Instead of just her. It's like God, man. You come to God with anything other than King Jesus Christ, you cook, bro. You're baked, fried, sauteed. You're literally smoking. Like, I care about you, bro, and I don't want you to go to hell. Like, I love you, man. Like, all jokes to the left, I love you, bro. And all your peoples too. All the people you know and all that. Whoopty whoop whoop. I hope your family doing well. I hope everybody cool, bro. From down your way. Quit trusting that what you do is what gets you to have a relationship with God. It's not what you do. It's what God did on that cross. The relationship with God is the belief in God. Your actions then cause your belief. God did. Like, it's not, you're not too high and mighty. You don't do too many good works to learn from somebody like me, bro, a sinner. I know that I'm a sinner and all that, but I know a lot of important things that even people like you who do the right thing every single day might not know. And I can really help you, and you can help me. And the whole point of this whole conversation was to try to help me. But it turns out that you the one that needed help. And I'm glad I was able to at least put this hand out. This video is the hand, right? It's King Jesus in the hand on a silver platter saying, hey, you don't gotta do nothing to have a relationship with me. You got it as long as you believe. I hope you take up God, bro. You take up that belief that you don't need to do nothing in order to be in communion with God other than believe in Him. And that's it. You good.